All right, peace and blessings. God bless y'all. I'm Jarvis Kingston. I hope y'all doing good in these tough times. In today's message, I want to discuss about losing weight and getting in shape. So, our health is our wealth, and it's very important nowadays to really get our health on point inside out. Any health problems we have, we should always fix them. Any goals we got fitness-wise, we should always reach them as well. And when the Bible, usually when people talk about, our body as a temple, they always refer to that aspect in a sexual way or in a way of tattoos or whatnot, but they never regard it in that way when it comes to health or fitness and getting more physical. Now, God, when you read the Bible, most men and women were mighty men and mighty women of valor. They were really warrior, gladiator type people. And as far as Israel goes, Israelites were very in shape people. We were tip-top shape. We were always ready for war. We were just, you couldn't mess with us, right? And, it's very important to really get our health on point and live long. You know what I'm saying? There's too many people having too much health problems out here nowadays, whether it's because of the air, the pollution, the food we eat, the habits we have, the drinking, the smoking. All those things really affect our health and affects our weight. Even the way we sleep, that affects our weight as well. So the biggest thing that really affects our weight is definitely our diet and what we eat. But even in the Bible, the Word of God even tells you what you should and shouldn't eat. And I'm going to break this down and read it for y'all. Let's go to the book of Leviticus chapter 11, verse 1. Clean and unclean animals. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying to them, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, These are the living things that you may eat among all the animals that are on the earth. Whatever parts the hoof and is cloven-footed, and chews the cud, among the animals you may eat. Nevertheless, among you, those that chew the cud of part of the hoof, you shall not eat these. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not the part of the hoof, is unclean to you. And the rock badger, because it chews the cud and does not part the hoof, is unclean to you. And the hare, because it chews the cud but does not part the hoof, is unclean to you. And the pig, because it parts the hoof and is cloven-footed but does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. You shall not eat any of their flesh, and you shall not touch their carcasses; they are unclean to you. These you may eat of all that are in the waters. Everything in the waters that has fins and scales, whether in the seas or in the rivers, you may eat. But anything in the seas or the rivers that does not have fins and scales, of the swarming creatures in the waters and of the living creatures that are in the waters, is detestable to you. You shall regard them as detestable. You shall not eat any of their flesh, and you shall detest their carcasses. Everything in the waters that does not have fins and scales is detestable to you. And these you shall detest among the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are detestable. The eagle, the bearded vulture, the black vulture, the kite, the falcon of any kind, every raven of any kind, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, the hawk of any kind, the little owl, the cormorant, the short-eared owl, the barn owl, the tawny owl, the carrion vulture, the stork, the heron of any kind, the hoopie, the hippo, and the bat. All winged insects that go on all fours are detestable to you. Yet among the winged insects that go on all fours you may eat those that have jointed legs above their feet, with which to hop on the ground. Of them you may eat the locust of any kind, the bald locust of any kind, the cricket of any kind, and the grasshopper of any kind. But all other winged insects that have 4 feet are detestable to you. And by these you shall become unclean. Whoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. And whoever carries any part of their carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Every animal that parts the hoof but is not cloven-footed or does not chew the cud is unclean to you. Everyone who touches them shall be unclean. And all that walk on their paws among the animals that go on all fours are unclean to you. Whoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. And he who carries their carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean to you. And these are unclean to you among the swarming things that swarm on the ground: the mole rat, the mouse, the great lizard of any kind, the gecko, the monitor lizard, the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that swarm. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be unclean until the evening, and anything on which of them falls when they are dead shall be unclean. Whether it is an article of wood or a garment or a skin or any sack, that any article that is used for any purpose, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the evening. Then it shall be clean. And if any of them falls into any earthenware vessel, all that is in it shall be unclean, and you shall break it. Any food in it that could be eaten on with water comes shall be unclean. And all drink that could be drunk from every such vessel shall be unclean. And everything on which any part of their carcass shall fall be unclean. Whether oven or stove, it shall be broken in pieces. They are unclean and shall remain unclean for you. Nevertheless, a spring or a cistern holding water shall be clean. But whoever touches a carcass in them shall be unclean. And if any part of their carcass fall upon any seed grain that is to be sown, it is clean. But if water is put on the seed, and any part of their carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. And if any animal which you may eat dies, whoever touches it or carcass shall be unclean until the evening. And whoever eats of his carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. And whoever carries the carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Every swarming thing that swarms on the ground is detestable. It shall not be eaten. Whatever goes on its belly, and whatever goes on all fours, or whatever has many feet, any swarming thing that swarms on the ground, you shall not eat, for they are detestable. You shall not make yourself detestable with any swarming thing that swarms, and you shall not defile yourselves with them, and become unclean through them. For I am the Lord your God. Consecrate yourselves therefore and be holy, for I am holy. You shall not defile yourselves with any swarming thing that crawls on the ground. For I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law about beast and bird and every living creature that moves through the waters and every creature that swarms on the ground, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature that may be eaten and the living creature that may not be eaten. So specifically, the book of Leviticus chapter 11 explains how God made things clean and unclean, and made things that we should eat and things that we shouldn't eat. You know, he really stressed this and expressed this a lot, because other groups of people, other nations, other cultures, they would eat all types of different stuff, which is very abominable before the Most High and very unclean. But see, the way we eat, our diet is everything dealing with our health and our weight. That's why I wanted to read the book of Leviticus chapter 11, because we eat these things and the word tells us not to eat it. And when you try to explain this to church people, a lot of times, and a lot of ministries of Christian people, a lot of church people, you know, they'll just be like, oh, you know, they'll just be like, oh, the law is done away with, or we're under grace and mercy. They just totally dismiss this. They totally just disregard it, you know. And when you go inside of a church, you know, a lot of church people are pretty big. They don't care about their weight. They don't care about their health. You know, there's a lot of big people in the church, and they just eat whatever. And the Bible tells us what we should and shouldn't eat. You know, an interesting verse is the book of Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7. And it says, and the pig, because of the parts of the hoof and is cloven-footed, but does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. To see the pig part. We all eat them breakfast sandwiches. Everybody eat bacon, sausage, you know, stuff like that. There's a lot of things that contain pork in it. Certain meals do taste good with pork in it, but it is unclean. And the Most High commands not to eat these things, you know. And then it also discusses about in the book of Leviticus chapter 11 verse 9, it says, these you may eat of, and it says, hold on. But verse 10 it says, but anything in the seas or the rivers that does not have fins and scales of the swarming creatures in the waters of the living creatures that are in the living waters is detestable to you. So that's the thing. A lot of people like to eat shrimp, lobster, crabs, oyster. We're not supposed to be eating that stuff, man. You know, I understand people love seafood, man. We're supposed to eat like fish, like certain fish, but we're not supposed to be eating like lobsters and shrimp and crabs and oysters and octopuses. We're not supposed to eat those things. The Most High command us not to eat those things, man, because that's basically like eating a pig. It's full of waste, and we shouldn't put that in our temples. We shouldn't put that in our body. Eating oysters, shrimps, lobsters, that's not no real health benefits to our bodies, man, because our temples aren't built to take in those type of things. Most people that love seafood like that loves eating pigs, stuff like that, they tend to have the most health issues. They tend to have weight issues. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, man. The Bible tells us how we should eat, man, and we just don't obey by it. Of course, we go on throughout our days and weeks, and we grab what we can when we're around the way and don't feel like cooking, but we should be mindful of God's creation. We should be mindful of what we put in our bodies, man. This is a more health conscious generation than ever. The problem with a lot of older people were just not that, well, some were health conscious, but a lot weren't. That's why so many middle-aged people and beyond, they always die of diabetes, heart disease, heart attacks, all types of cancer, kidney failure. All these things add up because of their habits of what they ate and drank when they were younger. All those things catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? Because your body could only take so much for so long. We have to be more mindful about what we eat and drink daily, man. You know what I'm saying? Watch our calorie intake and everything, man. We gotta lay off those sugars, those sodas, those water. We gotta lay off the sugar, all that salt, all that fast food, that junk food. We consume it then and there, man. But we gotta really, really tighten up our diet, man. We have to really tighten up our body, man. Our temples is everything, man. Our health is our wealth. If we don't cherish our health, man, then you really don't cherish anything. A lot of people out here got money, they got fame, but even they have health problems. I mean, look how a lot of these celebrities be dying in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. They don't even take care of their health. They got all that money, and they're not even healthy. You know what I mean? They take in all those drugs or whatnot, or all that drinking, but they're not really concerned with their health. You have certain famous people, certain celebrities that do like fitness and stuff, but a lot of cases, man, celebrities always die from health issues, and regular everyday people too. You have friends and family that die from certain health issues. Sometimes those could be generational curses too. Like you'll have a certain family, one got diabetes, this family member got diabetes, this family member got kidney failure. It's like a bloodline thing too. There's like a generational curse, So generational curse could be dealing with your health as well. It's not always dealing with poverty, but we got to exercise, man. Y'all got to go walking, jogging, running, ride your bike, do some push-ups, man. Play a sport, play some baseball, some football, some basketball, some soccer. Really get healthy, get fit, man. Get the blood flowing, man. Do some stretching, do all types of different activities, man. Get active. This is a very lazy generation, very lazy people. I'm not saying you gotta be a super athlete or have a super body or nothing. You just gotta be healthy. You gotta be in shape. When you deal with fitness and your health, don't do it for vain reasons. God wants us to be healthy. He put us on earth to be a healthy people. So if you're overweight, man, lose that weight. Get rid of that body fat, man. Tighten up. If you out of shape, you huffing and puffing, fix that, man. Work on your stamina. Work on your endurance. Work on your strength, man. Work on your reflexes, do boxing, do martial arts, do all types of different activities, man. That's good for the body, good for the health, man. Your health is so good, man, because when you have good physical health, your mental health, it kind of goes hand in hand, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, our physical health is everything, man. We got to lose that weight, man. We got to tone our bodies right, man. We got to get better. You don't get more healthy for vain reasons and for show. You get healthy for the long run, You want to be able to see your children live long, right? So you got to have good health to do that. So take care of your bodies, y'all. God bless y'all. Peace. I love y'all. Take care.